is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
All right, what's up, Woodman? Welcome
How you
to
doing, brother?
Sunday evening show, folks. All right, yes, this is not a repeat. This is a new live show. Woodman on, Ben earlier. How's it going, brother? You got a birthday tomorrow.
Yep, sure do. I had a very, very full day today. More so than I anticipated. Holy cow! Yeah, pretty full day. I have one tomorrow, and then of course I go in for my procedure on the 9th. The 9th of July. Probably gonna have a pacemaker put in or whatever they're gonna do. It's the last time I'm gonna let them touch me. You know what I mean? This bull crap.
Yeah, I understand.
It's been a couple of years, you know. I wonder if they're Democrats. I don't know.
People I wonder if you're going under by. Happy birthday to Woodman tomorrow. People are saying already, and we're gonna send prayers towards Woodman. Next week or so, he said. What is it? The next week or two, you go into surgery?
No,
the 14th.
It's gonna be a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
July 9th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Look.
I'm glad you had a good day.
Yeah. Even if this thing has a bad outcome, I don't care. Holy cow! If you people could understand what I've seen in my lifetime, holy cow. You know, I've raced motorcycles. I was a champion doing all kinds of stuff. I drag raced them. I raced up hills, doing hill climbing. I've been a champion for a long time. If I go now, I don't care, man. I've had a fantastic life. To be in the 82nd Airborne Division is probably one of the best things that has ever happened to me in my life, because it gave me the reality of camaraderie. And let me stress that, camaraderie. And we also feel this way too. I don't care if the gentleman took the trash out. If he was in the military, he was to be honored as a brother no matter what. So, yeah, I really think that's fantastic. And a great time in my life to actually wake me up, you know, for a lot of things, you know.
We salute you, brother.
Check it out. I even met you, Mike. I met Ben, you know. We've been kicking it for a couple of years now. It's pretty neat, you know. No, I've really a lot of brothers, patriots I've met. My Lord, I wish people could really understand, you know, just how many people that, you know, has touched me, and I've touched them too. It's just fantastic. Yeah. You can't complain about that kind of life going on. So.
No, yeah, and I agree. I've met some of the greatest people in my life, some of the best patriots right in the military, other than here on the Patriot Hour with all the subscribers and the people down below. Haven't met a lot of you yet. Have lots of conversations and emails, and it's just been a real pleasure. But meeting people like Ben, Woodman, and other, I've had other jobs after I've been out that I was surrounded with the military as well, doing some military contract work for several years, and it's easy to get along, it seems. You know, they get your jokes, they get your where you've been, where you come from, and it's just a mutual respect given across. So it's that's why I always recommend Legions to any newcomer getting out. Some of them can be, you know, stuck in their ways, but you get in there and you just give it time, and if you sit on the boards, you can sometimes get it going, and it needs a younger crowd. We've talked about that, the younger crowds, younger vets. Otherwise, these places will cease to exist around the country if we don't get the younger crowds in there to take over, because that's how it works.
Well, it'd be really nice for them to all understand that, once you sign your name in a dotted line and you actually go through your basic and all that other stuff, whatever, and you get a leave or whatnot, these places, every one of them will greet you with open arms. Just, I hope they understand that, and once you become a military active person in any way, shape, or form, these places, you're a veteran. These places, open arms, buddy, open arms, no kidding. And we stress this. We are a big family, even though we don't know a lot of each other. We are a big family. We've all done something. We've all sacrificed something. So, they have a place to go. I mean, this is really great times for them too. They come home on leave, and maybe their woman took off with some other guy, whatever, and need a place where they can go and maybe yak at a couple of veterans. I mean, come on, like
how many veterans? Personal story now you're talking about, or
yeah, check it out. Yeah. No, but you understand what I'm trying to get a point across. Really.
Maybe you need a place to go. Maybe your old lady left you in the dust, and you just need a place.
I didn't mean it to be so bad.
I'm joking.
But they have to understand. Look, these places are here for them. I mean, I'm not kidding you, man. Like at our post. Every active person, they pay their membership. Period. End of conversation. If you're active in the military, bang, they pay your dues. You are a member then and there, and they don't mess around. They mean it.
Now that was our post only because we both sat on the executive board there for many a moons. But our post, and some other ones I'm sure around the country, but I know for a fact that ours did, we paid for active duty military. So, they'd hardly ever be in because they're gone all year being active duty. But, when they got out, they remembered that. They might have 2-3 years paid for, and then they're going to be automatically a member at this post in their hometown. Real quick, JC, I love vagina. I see that last name's pretty slick there. $2. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I see that. I see that, Daniel. Thank you. So don't say the rest of that. It's awesome.
Fantastic, everybody. Well, I hope everybody's doing good.
Yeah, we're going to keep this simple tonight. We're going to take some call-ins here in the next 10, 15 minutes or something. We'll start some call-ins. We're just going to Sunday night chill. That's why I don't have the flag up. I got several new screensavers, folks, here. The flag one will always be one of our favorites. That is behind me right now. But we're trying out some new things here. But again, we're going to pick up where we left off. There's over 850 or so meme drops that we can cover slowly but surely.
These are awesome, everybody. These are awesome.
Collusion CNN. Leaked DNC email shows CNN engaged in criminal collusion with the Hillary 2016 on-air talent owe viewers an explanation. These are not reporters. They are political activists. Hashtag ban CNN from moderating the presidential debates. So all these people are complicit and treasonous. I don't watch CNN for the same reason I don't eat out of the toilet.
Beautiful.
Columbia calls, dig, meme, pray, and listen now for the USA. Jim Comey and McCabe meet the Keystone Cops. That's hilarious.
That is.
The Great Columbus Migrant Swim of 2019. Ooh. The strong survive, but the courageous triumph. QAnon. We got you covered. IG report confirms true pundit bombshell on Hillary Clinton's emails. Details Comey was briefed on the Clinton-linked sex crimes against children's evidence on the Wiener laptop.
Oh boy, there you go.
Skimmed through some of these quicker than others. Lifelog project continues. That is a Facebook. It starts with I'm going to say I think there was, let me see here. I think we went over that yesterday. Oops, sorry.
I don't know, but there's tons of them. I know that.
That we covered yesterday?
No, I mean altogether. We only covered about probably half of what they put out there.
Well, they're accusing the head of the ICE now to have leaked that information, because I went over that article Friday and I said, this is weird that they're announcing it, but hey, here it is. I mean, we didn't leak it. It was already on the front pages of some of these places we get articles from. But yeah, it was like he leaked it. Why would you announce that you're going to do a raid first thing Monday morning, you know?
Right. Well, that was covered also.
What, yesterday?
Well, I don't know if it was yesterday, but yeah, it was all covered about, you know, the leaks and stuff. And yeah, long story. I'll keep my mouth shut. I don't have documentation in front of me. 101st Airborne, there they are. Doggone right.
Do it right after another 3/4 of a century. What was that? Liberal media blackout. Bill de Blasio's wife cannot account for $850 million collected from taxpayers. Mainstream media in America cannot be trusted, period.
Huh.
Hello, Deep State, meet Q.
Yeah, no kidding. That fantastic picture.
There's a fantastic picture of all the criminals. Those are all the running mates for the 2015 or 2020 election so far for the Democratic side.
I smell something. I think it's called a Dem rat. Holy cow.
You see this guy dead center here, Woodman, the young kid, the youngest one in the center next to the guy in the blue shirt. I think it's that.
Yep.
Yeah, that Swathway or Swathwool. This guy, he's getting like 9 people showing up at his little rallies and stuff. 9 people, 12 people.
I'll tell you what I really think is hilarious is Biden's going to run, and he was part of the Obama crap. How can does he really
He goes
think
back
he's going to be able to get away with that?
He goes back 30 years.
I thought he was in for 50 years already.
50 total. He's been in the D.C. area, but he's been 35, 40 years in D.C. and then 10 years before that doing some run-up stuff. But it's like he has done none. Now he's promising to fix the world and everything.
But now look, he's in that umbrella, everybody. He's in that umbrella. He's like near the apex of the umbrella, people. Near the apex. It's like, you know, if they do win, we'll. I think I'm gonna try and move. I don't know. I really don't want to put up with that crap.
Oh yeah.
Find some kind of a abandoned island somewhere and just.
Yeah, that's all. It's all just. It's really tough to just move. You know what I'm saying? It really is.
Well,
a lot of these countries don't want you.
I know.
You're not good enough for them. You know, that's why I'm serious, Woodman. All these actors said if Trump wins, we're out of here. We're going to Canada. Well, they found out Canada don't really want you.
Well, no, I'm thinking more along the lines of a tropical area, such as one of the islands of Hawaii.
Oh, yeah,
you know, still the United States are a big guy. You know, I love that Mad. I know a lot of people are too young to understand what
remember Mad Magazine
was.
Man. That was
fantastic.
They're saying that looks like that Pete Buttigieg. That's what Trump said. He looked like the Mad Magazine dude. Let me see if I can find
Yeah.
it. Trump said it.
Look, I'm getting tired of that guy right there. I've seen enough of his face.
Booty
You know,
jig. Let me see here if I can.
Buttigieg, Petey Meaty.
Yeah, Trump called that out, and that shit that was hilarious. Hilarious. There it is. There you go.
I'm telling you. The only thing that's missing is a missing
Alfred.
tooth.
His name's Alfred E. Newman. That's who that is right there. Alfred E. Newman, and then Buttigieg.
Well, you know, genetics, you know. Yeah, probably the first one in their family was Howdy Doody.
A little bit of howdy
wooden
doody.
balls. Yeah, he
A
had
little bit
wooden
of gumbo.
balls.
A little bit of gumbo.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry.
There's that KFC.
Man, this guy here, and this guy there, holy cow.
Oh yeah.
Two people and oh man, what are
Riggy.
you,
There's another one. There's your other favorite.
no. Holy cow.
Oh, Nadler. Democratic congressional hearings are rigged.
You know it.
Rigged. Democrats have already started impeachment proceedings. They're just not calling it impeachment because there's no basis for it, and the American people don't support it. It's crazy. Rigged. Look at this guy's eyes, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all under mind control. There's another
Oh man.
favorite.
Oh man.
The real constitutional crisis here.
Yep.
Democrats want to get rid of the Electoral College. They want to get rid of where all the red worked, where all the red voting is what they want to. Well, that's, we need to quit doing what we do there and change it to the popular vote, where the blue stuff is. That's what matters, the blue stuff.
Yeah.
That's the big cities, folks. L.A., Chicago here in the Midwest, and New York over here. That's the three.
Well,
biggest.
I think that's why the Democrats want to have illegal aliens have a driver's license so they can use that for voter ID. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Here again too, to gain some more votes. I think by now enough American people have woke up, but we won't have to worry about that anyhow.
When Democrats demand open borders and gun control.
Yeah.
Demand open borders, and then they want your guns too.
Right.
It's pretty scary. Impeachment is our only option. For what though? We don't know, but just impeachment is our only option.
Well,
50 Democrats struggle to find the word Christian. These are like all little tweets, struggling Democrats to use the word. Diana, another tragedy in Paris when 17 traffic cameras between the Ritz and the tunnel weren't working, and radio ham said police frequencies went down. Just a coincidence, nothing to worry about. Seems odd.
Isn't it terrible?
The elephant in the living room.
Wow.
The British establishment killed me in association with the authorities in France, and it was coordinated by the hidden hand that controls them both. Charles wanted Savile to be Harry's godfather. We must know the truth about Seville and the royals, and then the monarchy would fall. They're planning an accident in my car so Charles can marry again. Sheesh. Dig for victory, shine a light on truth. Dig for victory. The companies Disney owns. It's a vast network here.
Yeah.
All the little subsidiaries you can get in there. We'll have to dig into that one on another
Very
day.
informative. Very informative.
Nice. The Steele dossier, all the fingerprints. Hillary, the DNC's got fingerprints on it. Fusion GPS, John Brennan, John McCain, James Comey. It's just a bunch of junk in there. See, like plants coming out of it.
how could they honestly figure they were going to get away with that? Of course, I never
Well,
mind.
because they thought he'd be impeached by now.
Hillary was going to win. No, Hillary was going to win.
Well, at
So
any
yeah,
point here, yeah. Well, now, no, it wasn't she was going to win with that. You got to remember this, where people get a little confused, but they were doing this illegally before Trump ever won. They were using the Five Eyes. They were not breaking U.S. law. This is how slick they thought they were. They were making other countries access the information and unmask and all that crap, and then going around it. And then once Trump won, they went to the FISA courts and tried to get surveillance on the people around Trump. The actual first time, the FISA court said, no, you don't have a good enough reason. And then they left like, oh, man, and kicking dirt, you know. And then they're like, oh, we could come up with a dossier thing. That's when they funded one really quickly, got this Christopher Steele guy to get it all round up. Once Hillary got it, did she ever make a call to the FBI like, hey, I got a hold of some guy that's going to get me dirt on Trump? Why would she call the FBI on herself? She didn't. She waited till the information came back from this foreigner and then took it to the FBI. And then they went to the FISA courts and like, can we get a warrant on these Trump people now? Yes, now it's good enough. I mean, but the first time was no. The first time the system did work. It was like, no, you don't have enough. But they only did this whole dossier after Trump won. This was their insurance plan. Before that, they were doing it totally illegal overseas, off of our books.
If you remember right, they had, what was it, 4 different charges or whatever they're coming up with, and they still couldn't get the first one to stick because there was nothing there.
Yes.
Correct, Mike? You know, it's crazy. How much do you think they really think they can get away with all that? You know, thank God we have, like, there you go.
He's not really
people
old,
like that. I know, but isn't that great? We have people like that in our office now, finally. Of the people and for the people. You know, come on.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Trust the plan.
I love all these pictures. Everyone they put out. I want to get everyone all stuck together so I can watch it.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep going through these. Let's open up the phone lines. What do we got? We got about 500 people in the room. This is great. Thanks again for the super chat and to all the Patriots joining in. We'll open up the phone lines here.
That'd be nice. Oh, yeah. Number at the bottom of the screen down there. 202-505-98.
All right, let's see here. All right, we got the phone lines open for anyone that wants to call in.
Phone number 202-505-5198.
All right, we got Pennsylvania calling down here. All right, Pennsylvania, this is a Patriot Hour. This is Mike and Woodman. What's going on?
Pennsylvania, but I live in Oklahoma. Hey, man, you guys are doing a great job, but I just got a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think that Hillary Clinton's actually going to get prosecuted?
All right, good question. I honestly, all the evidence I've seen and articles that are, I would believe to be good reporting and actual crimes committed, even with what James Comey came out and said, there has been tons of crimes that she's committed. Tons of laws have been broken.
But she always is Teflon, man. She's always got a
they used to call Bill
slimy lawyer that gets.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly well, you know, they tried, if you remember, they tried real hard at painting Trump's lawyer as a slimy do-all. You know, I've had lawyers that wouldn't do anything for me that I ask. It's like I go there, I pay them some money, they're counseling me, and I'm like, well, you should do this. And that's a horrible idea. I'm not going to do that. And they refuse to even do something in the courtroom that I wanted them to do. But for some reason, these people are like, oh, well, it's different if you're Trump. If you're Trump, Mike, you know, these lawyers that you hire, they do exactly what you say. Really, I still don't believe that to be true. But there you go. Hillary's lawyer was able to actually bleach bit or do some dirty actual work, and you know, they all got immunity. They all
they're snaking the grasses all the way around, man. They're snaking the grass.
So here's what to remember.
Bill and Hillary both.
Do you know right now they're wrapping up all the investigations, right? Like Huber, Horowitz.
I heard that. Yeah, Huber and was it the guy from Connecticut? What's his name? John
Huber, and then you got Horowitz.
Yeah.
He's from Utah.
And then there's a guy that, the Durham guy or whatever his
Yep,
name
Durham. Yeah, Durham as well now.
The other one. Yeah.
So this is our best chance, right?
Stuff.
Have you ever seen as much light?
I mean,
have you ever seen as much light coming on the Hillary crimes as now? I mean, before it was a rigged system. You had these people that it wasn't everybody, but people were covering for. They all have been fired. There's nobody on their side anymore.
Well, that's true.
So that's the only thing I can say.
The thing is, though, is another question. Do you think Barack Obama's going to get put under the gun, as they say?
Okay.
Is he going to have to testify? Is he going to have to, that's another question that, he was an ex-sitting president. I have a feeling they're not going to prosecute him. I just have a feeling. He's a snake in the grass and a turkey.
Yeah. No, for optic reasons or for reasons of preservation, I can almost see that you would be right in those statements. Other than,
well, I could see them taking away his law license, like they did Bill.
Yeah,
where he couldn't practice law.
I think it's already gone.
Punishment,
if you look into that, I believe he's already lost his. Michelle, his wife, has lost has lost his, hers. They've all lost them, I believe, already.
Well, I've heard a lot of weird things about Obama, that he's a gay man and living a life as a heterosexual man and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, no, there's lots of.
There's a lot of people implying that his wife is not really his wife; it's his boyfriend Michael. That kind of stuff. And in some things,
well, and with all the agendas going on, some things mean more than others. Like just like in the real fight that we're all fighting right now, there's lots of social things that are put out there to keep us going at each other that really don't mean much, other than they do, but they don't in the bigger scheme of things. You're right. There's lots of surrounding.
I don't think we'll ever know who pled guilty to what, because they keep all that stuff secret. It's under wraps. You have to look it up to find out who pleaded guilty to what, because a lot of times those are sealed. They seal the documents and you can't read them.
Oh, and we don't even know if
little stipulations.
Obama could have put in executive orders to protect Hillary or exonerate her on all future crimes too. There is word of that, and that's something else that we wouldn't know about. That's why she hadn't gone down on anything. So it's like, wow, there's been this executive order put in.
I would think though Trump would be able to override that with
an
executive order of his own.
Well,
possibly.
I don't know.
I think Graham. I think the reason why Graham's in there, they call him the pit bull. He's definitely unbiased. I don't care either
Durham?
way. Yeah, Durham. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Durham. He's a bulldog, though. Durham is a bulldog.
Yeah,
that's what we need. He's a bulldog.
If you look at the facts, you look at the facts on him. He's taking people out on both sides. He's got looks like to be biased. So, all right. Well, good questions, and we're gonna get some other callers here.
Hey, I appreciate your time, and hey, you guys are doing a great job. Keep
all right. Thank you. Thank you so much, and call back anytime. We appreciate the call. Thanks. All right, you heard it there. There was a great call, a couple of different answers. I firmly believe if there's any chance to wrap his up, that Hillary's going to go down or Obama, it's going to be at these times coming, folks. At these times coming. There's never been so much light, never been so much talk, never been so much evidence, never been channels like ours pushing and just screaming. All right, New Hampshire, you are here on the Patriot Hour. This is Mike and Woodman. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Hi there. Just want to say thanks. I enjoy your channel. I was just wondering if you thought that all this would come through on the main media. If you think that
Good
some of
question.
these, like even with losing licenses and things.
Well, do you mean like coming through to the mainstream, like CNN or MSNBC or Fox?
Correct.
Okay. Well, some of it,
Yeah.
some of the narrative is like, I believe, like Tucker, some of Tucker, most of Sean Hannity is now almost completely in line with what we are doing. Where even as a year ago, it was kind of somewhat there, but now with all these investigations that are coming out that we've known about, that we've been talking about, the Horowitz and Huber the whole time. Woodman had said the other same thing to me off the show the other day. He's like, well, when are they going to come around? I do not believe some of them will not come around. CNN, I honestly believe that's a Clinton news network. I think it was owned and operated by them all this time, 20 years, 30 years. They used to let dirt on them come out on there a little bit, so it looked really legit. But at this point, now that it's almost all done, they're not. No more bad talk on Hillary whatsoever, only on Trump. So now you don't see anything reported on her. And that's only because they don't want to be around. They're not going to be around. If they're done and arrested and put up, there is no reason to own a channel to kind of to steer away from all your own crimes. So I think some of them are just done. I think these social media platforms, some of them are deciding to be done, like YouTube possibly. They do have the exemptions to not get in trouble. They've had that for years. The liable laws, Congress has given that to them, which that means they can never be held liable for anything that happens on their platform. But now, after several years, and I can understand having the rules of somebody's, going to cause harm or making a video about, I'm going to go do this at this place at this time. Yes, it should be turned over to the cops and you shouldn't be able to get away with that. But they are just blocking conservatives because they don't like the message, and it's not even violating any of their terms. So they're doing that.
That's
And
terrible.
and they don't have a reason to. They're protected. They got special laws to be protected, and now it's like, well, we don't care. So then they got to go one way or the other. Either support the First Amendment, which is free speech, or don't and remain a private company, but now you don't get the liable laws. Well, they can't have the best of both worlds. So I don't know. You're going to see a divide. Some channels will never, ever flip or start reporting on what's true, and some are. Some actually are starting to. Right, Woodman? What do you think?
Good.
On
I
that?
really hope so.
Yeah, yeah, they are, but like Mike was saying, some of those are going to have to stand firm because they're owned by certain people, and we always try and tell everybody, be very careful of the fake news, because even through like a Fox channel, they can slide that through. Um, that's their
Mhm.
only defense. That's their only defense right now, is the media trying to keep people swayed in their direction, which you know uh, it's the wrong direction. But society has it all set up to where now both people have to go to work in the household. So you get up in the morning, get the kids off to school, both you rush off to work, you come back, possibly have a little time with the kids, you have a meal, maybe go out and play a little sports with them or whatever. uh, then you try and cram as much news in as you can before you go to bed, and that's all they ever see. So the fake
Mhm.
media understands that, and so that's their bewitching hour, and that's all they listen. That's all people like that here. It's not their fault that they don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
because they don't have time.
Correct. It's
You know,
sad.
yeah,
Very sad that
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what they hear and that's what they believe.
they get 10
yeah.
minutes, and if they accidentally land on CNN, or if that's their preferred choice, or Fox, and like Woodman said, not all of Fox is good. There's several people at certain times of the day that are against Trump on that channel. It's not all glorious over there for just Trump. So they have few
Yeah,
good
sure.
people. And the same with CNN. They actually, CNN employed pro-Trump people, but they were buried on internet. Like, they only were able to do articles that hit the internet, and got very few, because nobody that truly listened to CNN would even want to hear positive news on Trump. So they let these articles get buried out on the internet. Now, if at any point they came out and said, you guys only reported on lies, it's like, no, oh, you're talking about our one host on the one show. Look here, we got an article that was that covered that same story you're talking about. And it's from CNN, and you're like, oh my gosh, they did. They covered it the right way, but it was buried, and it got maybe 2 views from some people on the, nobody's looking for CNN for a pro-Trump article, and you'd have a hard time finding it. Anyway, they laid them people off. They were the first ones to go last week or last month. More coming. These things, they're operating in the red. Like they're getting less subscribers in the Patriot Hour shows sometimes. I mean, it is ridiculous. People are waking up.
Yeah,
truly.
I think mostly young people will be on the internet and seeking out. So majority of people, it's more older people that are on the TV. So.
Yes. And you got, the older generation is getting this phones now, and they're finding it easy to hit a button and it shoots over to the TV, and they can get the YouTube going or some of these other apps. So.
Thank goodness we got Bar in there. That was the best thing that ever happened.
Yes. It's lots of things are turning. I think we hit that part of the movie where it's like the plot twist for sure. So we're gonna stay vigilant, and we'll keep following everything along as it comes in. We appreciate you calling in. We're gonna get to some other calls.
Great, awesome job, you guys. Thank you.
All right, you have a great evening. God bless. All right.
Bye.
Fantastic.
Let me see here. Oklahoma. This is a Patriot Hour. Mike and Woodman. What's going on?
What's going on, guys?
How is it going?
Just pretty good. I just want to say God bless you guys and everything. Doing a great job out there.
Thank you.
I just want to kind of make a statement here. I heard your show earlier. I keep hearing everybody talk about their constitutional rights. And I'm ex-Army. I swore an oath to protect the Constitution and everything, just like everybody else did that is in the military. And one of the things is, people kind of get that wrong about the Constitution. The Constitution does not give you your rights. What gives you your rights is that preamble up there where it says that your rights are given to you by your Creator. And those amendments and everything there, first and second and everything, all that is an outline of what some of your rights are. It's kind of like when you're doing a presentation or whatever, to show what
the highlights or the bullet points and
the bullet points.
Okay.
So your rights are given to you by your Creator, not man, not a piece of paper, by God. And that's one thing people need to learn and understand, that no man can take your rights away. You can only give them away. And that's what we've got to stop doing in this country. And I want to say again, God bless everybody out there. Love you all. God bless Donald Trump.
Amen,
Trump
brother.
2020.
Thank you. All right. That was a good piece of advice there. Thank you so much, and God bless you. All right,
God
folks, that was
bless
a
you,
great
for
one.
sure.
He is right. And me and Ben had talked about this with our Constitution, and, you've always heard God, country, family, right? And it's like, and if you look at the 1870, I should have brought this up to that guy, the 1871 Organic Act, where the federal government basically usurped our Constitution to put theirs in charge and ahead. Theirs is flipped. It's not God, country, family. It's like country first, or government first, and then country, and then God or something. It's Ben pointed that out, and it's nuts. And there's your little dupage. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, fantastic. This guy calling in about that. Very informative.
All right, phone lines are still open, and here we go. I don't like that one. I don't know if that was coming through on the. We'll take the next call. Are you hearing the rings too, Woodman, by the way?
No, I don't hear the rings. I just hear the people talking.
Oh, that's even awesome. Oh yeah, because I think I have the ring off on the.
I don't need to hear it. You're on the right. That's on your end, brother, not mine. Yeah, I hear that.
All right, Colorado. This is a Patriot Hour. This is Michael and Woodman. How's it going, and what's on your mind?
Hi, Michael and Woodman, Patriots. This is Sandy, east of Colorado Springs.
Hello, Sandy. How are you doing?
Hello.
Awesome.
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, and I hope the same for yourself. The reason for my call is I was thinking about the announcement that President Trump is so excited about for the 4th of July. And we all know the one that we're all thinking about, which would be absolutely marvelous. And that's, of course, can I say the initials?
Yeah, oh yeah, you can say it.
Okay. Of course, that would be JFK Jr. and his family, okay? But the other thing I was thinking about, on one of the videos, it has Mount Rushmore with President Trump's face as one of the presidents there. And I'm going, is he maybe going to announce that they're going to add President John F. Kennedy's face to Mount Rushmore? Is that maybe one of them? Was that kind of like just a symbolic, hey, by the way, I'm going to say that we're going to add someone. What do you think?
That's good. Now, in the earlier phone show we did earlier this afternoon, we had a similar call and a similar conversation, but this is awesome. So I am still trying to piece together. I've heard it all. I heard the 8chan letter going around where a guy was having lunch with an older gentleman. This older gentleman, his son was a park ranger working at where the president's faces are, Mount Rushmore. And he said that big parties being planned there for the 4th. And then Trump tweeted in May or maybe March that fireworks are coming back to Mount Rushmore. And there's going to be a big party, a celebration with soldiers, bands, just a big patriotic and, possibly a huge announcement. But Trump's tweet said that fireworks were coming back next year, which is 2020. So they're not coming back. And I've already confirmed, I've gone online for Mount Rushmore, and it's the summer of 2020 for 4th of July. So not this summer. Now, there is a big party in D.C. next week for the 4th of July this year, the Freedom Festival or whatever they're calling it. So I'm confused on if there would be an announcement if it was going to be at the one in D.C. or the Mount Rushmore thing, which is next summer, I believe, for fireworks. Unless there's a huge party there this year without fireworks. I might be confused on it all. That is an interesting theory that it could be John F. Kennedy, not Jr., but just John F. Kennedy's face added. And there is the George magazine that also had Mount Rushmore in the background with the full moon above it. I don't know, lots of interesting things, but I'm not. The biggest thing I'm hearing is this 4th of July, which is in like a week now, that there's a huge party at Mount Rushmore. JFK is going to come out. And I didn't see that anywhere other than just some people getting, it seems to be things mixed up a little bit at least. So I'm not sure. Which one are you hearing? Have you heard that the party is in D.C. this year and Mount Rushmore next year? Or were you thinking that Mount Rushmore was this year as well?
I thought that Mount Rushmore was this year, which to me would make more sense because, well, maybe not. 2020, election year.
Yeah.
Maybe that's when the whole big shebang would come out.
Yeah, because we did that research quickly as well. Me and Ben, off the cuff, off the phone, off the show, we did some research because we were trying to put something together, and it just kept falling apart, so we never came out with anything. But it was, we looked up all other presidents who have had a VP, vice president, like Trump does right now, and how many times they have given that president, the vice president, up only after 4 years. It's only happened very few times, like 9 other times in the history of there's been like 45 presidents, I think 48 vice presidents, sometimes due to sickness or ill health in the past, and for whatever other reasons. But and then also, when do they pick? When do presidents normally announce who their VP is going to be? It normally is in July, shortly before the election, because that's when the parties concede. Like for Hillary, they are like, oh, okay, she's going to be the front runner for the Democratic Party. And now they're free to pick their vice. You wouldn't pick a vice president before you know you're going. to the show. So I think it was the same with Trump. Once the Republican Party said, you're our front running guy, then he was able to look at everybody. And sometimes they pick other people that were running, along in the race as well. So that would make more sense next summer to be at that, Mount Rushmore. And if JFK was to come out, to be then, and then to maybe announce that he's going to be my VP, because it would almost line up with how historically it works with the person 3 months before the election, 4 months that summer. They typically announce. They said all people have normally in the election year declared their vice president in like June, July, August, September. That's typically when that happens. But these are just statistics and facts, and I'm not, Trump's not really playing within those boundaries at all by any means. So.
No, he's not, which actually is good, because I'll tell you what, the bad guys, it's just throwing them all off. And I have to tell you, Michael and Woodman, I cannot talk to my entire family about any of this. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to listen. And bless my heart for getting out of the state where they're at, because it won't work. It would not be working.
And that's sad.
And it's kind of sad. And I kind of wonder, when this all comes down and it all comes out, for them to see and to realize, oh my gosh, it's true. All of this stuff, the child trafficking, all of this stuff, this awful stuff on the islands, it's all true. Yeah. And, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to respond, but right now I cannot say a word. And I know there's a lot of families out there that it is the same. I just thank goodness that I'm here by myself and they're there. I don't live by my family. I haven't for a long time.
Yeah, and that's sad, because it's like, and I try to always say, and I know Trump is compassionate, like, people like us, and you understand it all. The last caller was asking, do you think this person's going to go down or that, but they never have in the past? And that's the whole point here. Nobody has ever gone down in the past. Not in these elite groups. They've all covered for each other. They don't take each other down. That's what's different about this time here. Yes, the bigger picture is that people will go down, and child trafficking and stuff like that Trump's taking care of will stop or come to a really slow roll. And these people will just, the bigger issue to me is that it stops. And then the second thing is some of the people that I've lost touch with, or family members. Hopefully that can work itself out as well. Nobody's trying to rub anything in anybody's face like, I told you so. We're not doing that. It's just, they're going to have to realize they were duped and come to those, like, they'll be looking in the mirror or waking up, and they're going to have to do the ones like, well, how did I allow myself to get lied to? And they can come back to you and say, well, how would I know? My channel was just never telling me that they're, a lot of people think the border is just about people that are hungry and need work. Nobody was ever having the discussion on trafficking or drugs. I mean, we all kind of known the drug thing, but now it's at a real head hunt. Like, it's like, no, this is bad. It's killing neighborhoods and destroying families here in the U.S. And but the trafficking thing, in and out, not just out of the country, but into the country. We're getting foreign kids shoved in here. We're getting American kids taken out. That's been happening for a long time, and nobody's been willing to even put a finger on it and, do anything.
Yep.
That's
huge thing, right? And I did actually get the attention of two of my family members with the diseases coming across. And there was someone that meticulously did several videos on Ebola. And when I they sent them the link, and they actually listened to it. And I actually got one sentence, which was, okay, this is a concern. And I thought, okay, one thing, and that's fine. Let them take it where they want to go with it. But at least they listened. And it was like, please listen just to this. I don't care about anything else, just this. So I think, those of us that are in this situation do get somewhat frustrated in what, like how we word things is, did you ever think of this? Or and like the, can I say the agenda?
Yes.
21?
That's a good,
okay.
Yep.
Like for Agenda 21, the response I got back, oh, good, they want women more involved. And it's, oh, gosh, that's great, you know, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. And I don't think, I think it was then, Michael and Woodman, when I realized just stop. You've given them just a few things, let them do their own research, and that's what I told them. You have to educate yourself just like I did.
Oh,
and that's it. So, and I think part of it is I'm more like my dad. And the interesting thing, I'll just tell you this real quick. I know you have a lot of calls, and I appreciate it. My father passed in November of 2011, and the sad thing is he trained to fly the P-40 and P-51, and his third health exam, they found an old farm injury, so they would not let him fly overseas. He of course, told us kids it devastated him. But anyway, the last 5 weeks of his life, I went back to the state where my family is, and he was still cognitive, and he and I were alone. And he looked me square in the eyes, and I know this look. And he said to me specifically, Sandy, something is coming, and it's going to be very big. It's going to hit my kids, but it is going to hit my grandkids and great-grandkids very, very hard. Get ready. That was my dad back in 2011. He only said it to me. I told my sisters about it, and he said, well, and of course they're going, he never said anything like that to me.
Right.
I think I'm like Dad.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So.
Well, maybe you were the only. Maybe you were the only one in the family to understand.
He had, trained on those planes, and he had done that. It was the Wisconsin Air Corps at that time. Oh, I just gave it away. Anyway, I kind of better understood all of that hard discipline he gave me, raising me on the farm.
All right.
And I was a lean, mean fighting machine, let me tell you. He worked me hard, and I thanked him for that. I thanked him. Yeah, on one Father's Day, I think I was something. Yeah, so that, yeah.
Well, thank you.
I don't think he knew what.
Thank you for sharing that whole story. That was very, very good. And we're gonna. What do you think on that? Do you believe JFK Jr. is alive?
Right now, I'm going to Michael and Woodman, I can believe anything right now. I think about how long they've been putting all of this together, even when President Trump was younger and his uncle and all the Tesla documents. It's like more and more seems to be coming out, or I'm just digging more than I did before. I think it's a possibility. Carolyn's smile, that's very, very, very hard, I would think, to mimic. And when you see the videos at his, rallies, and, there's the VF guy, and then there's her, and the YouTube channel, The Gunner's Wife. Have you seen that?
I think I've come across that before.
Where she breaks down and she does voice analysis, lip reading of what those two were talking about. And when she's saying it, you can watch it, and then you can see what President Trump says to Melania when she's about ready to speak. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute here. and then the son and the daughter are in different places, and they show them. I don't know. But there's just other things. The magazine, the 2020, and will Hillary be indicted or arrested, whatever it said, on the George magazine. And Larry King having a letter from JFK Jr. to President Trump, what was it, 3-4 days, something like that, after he was killed, supposedly. And now they're talking about that they have a video where there was a news reporter, and there was a section of it that was supposedly taken out of the report, and it was about a beacon that was placed in a different area they were supposed to search, apparently not where the real crash happened or where the plane went down or however they did it, but something just is not. Did you happen
to catch the Bill Cooper ones I put back up from '99?
I've seen them before, and Michael, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to watch them again.
Okay, well, they're just something to listen to. There is nothing to watch other than I put up like some blank JFK stuff that I found just to kind of have going along with it. But it's really just he had vowed to give us a good investigative thing, and after 6 months, because his episode came out in October of '99, so that would have been July. Yeah, about 4 or 5 months.
4 months?
Yeah, 4 months, I guess, is more so about accurate. But he, and all that evidence still stands to this day. Very interesting. He didn't get into whether or not he thought he was alive or faked his own death. But I believe it was very plausible for somebody like him of his stature to go and hide out for all these years. They only would have came back if he grew up with Secret Service, some very good patriots close to him and his mom and family, and he would have been protected on many levels and learned some things. So it's all very plausible. People are like, how can you fake your own death? Easy. Actually.
Right. Well, was there to help them too.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how good of friends they were, but it's my understanding they were friends.
Yes.
And with President Trump being part of this whole plan, he's in the know, and I think they of course knew that they had, she had to get rid of JFK Jr., or she would have lost.
Yes.
And basically, he had to just bow out, and that was one way to bow out. And the other thing is the Isaac Cappy, his last video he did. I don't know if you've listened to that.
I think I saw that one, the very last one, yes.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Multiple times in there, he says, a good man. Now, what is one of the things that JFK Jr. said, when he was asked about politics? Rather than be a great man, or this isn't verbatim, rather than be a great man, I would rather be a good man.
Yes.
And you hear President Trump saying that he's a good man about these other people, but yep, he's a good man. And, yeah, it's just, maybe, I'm just, just seeing it all over the place, and it really isn't anything that I should be thinking about. But I think it's possible. I really do. And I'll tell you what, bless this United States if that is the announcement coming.
Well, here's something else moving forward to think about, like, what do you think that, like, and the only good positive thing I can think, like, what, because with most of the things we look at here, we'll look at the who, what, when, and why, or in a lot of things that they'll tell me, like Woodman and Ben will tell me, is like, I always say, well, what's the end game? What's the end game of that? What would that matter to us? So right now, I'm really happy with Trump. I don't know what JFK Jr. could add. Now, I know when he went down or left, in '99, he was a Democrat. His father was. Now that party's changed, and I'm not saying the Republican side is, because I'm not really a Republican. I am what considered myself as a constitutionalist. I stick by that, and if I see people following that and doing, I'll support them. I support Trump 100%. I do line up with the Republican Party a little more with the gun values and my border. So if anything, I probably am a little bit more, conservative on that for years anyway. But I don't consider myself to be too much of a Republican, more constitutionalist. But I can see the benefit with Junior if he was alive and he came out and Trump announced it, and then they're hugging, and then it's like, he's gonna be my vice president, and he's vice president, and then he goes on to get the next 8 years. And he follows a similar plan. After JFK Jr., it could be Trump Jr., and he runs it for them. We can go into the next 15, 18 years covered.
Sure.
But so that's one thing is I find all this interesting and will always entertain it. I don't spend too much time anymore. I've done several videos, and anytime I find out something new about it, I jump on it. I did some videos with the Georgia magazines and exactly what you're talking about, the indictment, Hillary, will she be indicted on that same cover? I believe that the Illuminati, the powers that be, that they throw lots of symbology in their movies and their TV shows and their music video with the music industry. They throw symbols in the backgrounds that even the actors or the music artists themselves don't know quite what it means, but it's somebody's controlling the set, somebody paid for everything. And well, anyway, JFK Jr., his magazine, it wasn't Cabal owned. The reason he came out with that was to announce his father's killer, which was the name of the magazine. But once he had all the evidence and everything, he was going to tuck it and do a nice article. He could have never got that ran by some cabal-ridden newspaper agency, so he had to have his own magazine. I believe the whole time in there he was doing subliminal messages to them for 4 to 5 years. There's lots of the owners of the world would read his magazine like, dang, we don't own this magazine, what's in here? And they're seeing things shot to them like they normally do to each other. So and then came 99, Hillary was going to run. He himself, she was like, damn, I got to run against a Kennedy, are you serious? Talking to Bill or something. You promised me I'd be senator. I got to run against a Kennedy. I'll never run against a Kennedy. Don't worry about it, Hillary. I see how it goes, and it all makes really good sense to me, and it's actually all very plausible, but it is opposite of what we've heard. And I was actually part of the Kennedy Jr.'s plane search on the USS George Washington, and that's on July of 99. Wow. We were one called over there, looked for it for about 8 to 10 hours, I believe, 12 hours, and then we moved on, and other ships took over. But I don't believe they found anything for days, a couple more days, right, or weeks, I can't remember. Because there was that false beaconing going off at some other point, like it was almost thrown out on purpose to get everyone looking in the wrong area. So,
bless your heart, Michael. Thank you so much for everything you did for that. But I have another question here. Then, what about Seth Rich? There has been not much, just a tiny inkling every now and then where someone will say. And Seth Rich may come out because he had all documentation or something, more documentation on her. I don't know. I don't. But what do you think?
So on Seth Rich, say that again. There was one little. Who was that linked back to now? What were you saying?
Well, there's just been a few stations, and this has been like. For several years, just off and on, and I don't hear it a lot. They just say that there's, in the back of their mind, they're going, is it possible we're going to see Seth Rich come back with all documentation and be able to testify against her? That's
another, that he never died. I have heard that. I think I've covered that in one of my early on videos that possibly he never died. We know for a fact that one of the FBI or their narrative that that we were hacked by the Russia or this Guccifer. Do you remember the Guccifer 2.0? That's all been verified to be fake. It hasn't been dealt with yet, but Computer Wizard, I mean, we've even duplicated it. The DNC leak that WikiLeaks put right on their site and everyone got to see, and that was the raw file taken from the DNC server. By looking at that file, there's always numbers attached to every little file that's within that folder that they took. And that proves that it was taken by thumb drive or within the network, which means at least close proximity. And if they were able to hack in wirelessly, or somewhere else on the network, some other machine that was tied in and able to get to this server, not done from Russia all the way here by a computer in Russia done here. You can look at that because each file, as you take it, you've probably seen a file on a computer that has 50 photos in it. And all of those 50 photos you can grab one by one, or you can take that whole folder and pull it over, and it has to transfer. The way that's done, it gets recorded within its own self. So that copy, even though you have the original on the computer, that copy gets recorded differently, and depending on how you do it. Did I download it from the internet and from another machine, or did I plug something directly in? Some people wouldn't be able to know the difference. But some of us would by looking at the raw files and digging a little deeper. There's new little timestamps put on, and it's virtually impossible for Russia to have hacked the DNC with what we see on these WikiLeaks files. The timestamps tell us that it was done on an average about 49.1 megabytes per second. Whereas the quickest download speeds we can see out of Russia going through different servers, and you can actually log on to different servers and do tests and ping was about 12 megabytes a second. So that's the fastest that we can get out of Russia, was a 12 megabyte connection. But these photos were downloaded at a 49.1, about 3 times the actual speed. So the FBI needs the answer for that, because that blows a hole right in their whole narrative of this is how they got the files. So we know it was somebody on the inside that took these files via hard drive, thumb drive, CD-ROM, if you want to go that old school. But it wasn't a CD-ROM. Right. A CD-ROM's too small. It had to have been a DVD, an actual DVD to be. But nobody's going to copy to that anymore, and it's definitely so. We believe Seth Rich did 100% get these files. There's no doubt. They still don't acknowledge that by having this fake narrative set up that the Russians hacked it. That would be bombshell as well. But I think we already got that covered. I think we got that covered with Julian Assange, Kim.com. I think Seth Rich actually reached out to Kim.com, and Kim.com's the one that helped him get in touch with WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. So. And I think he's already came to the White House and talked with the Trump administration, certain people within the Trump administration. If you look that up, Kim.com, White House meeting, I believe all of that's been done in the past for some reason. And this gets me back full circle to my point. You seem to know a lot. Lots of other people on the channel that follow here at the Patriot Hour understand a lot, know a lot, and and some people are impatient to this. Like, I already know everything. When are they going to get arrested? I've been waiting 6 months. It's not so much you, now that you're convinced, I'm convinced, we understand the crimes, we understand the investigations. This administration doesn't leak like the last administrations used to leak a lot. That's all been sealed up quite a bit. They're honest with their investigations is the point. And we need to wake up the other 40%. It's not so much I'm worried about you or these other people on the Patriot Hour. We're worried about, I think it was you saying, or the last caller, that their family, they can't talk with them and they've lost so much. It was you. And it's like, I would just wish they'd come around. We're worried about them because the fake news media that has really worked on them, not so much worked on you, or you've fought through it. I've fought through it. We're woken up now. They're not woke. So once the narrative comes out that Trump's arresting all these people don't even think they did any crimes. That was the whole point of getting Trump in and doing this narrative we're doing now. The media, the military, good patriots saw Bush doing things, and then it got really bad under Obama. Things that were treasonous that they should have went in directly arrested Obama. But think about the nation waking up back in 2012 to Obama was arrested today. Some military generals are saying that he was doing treasonous things. Not a lick of us out here knew anything bad he was doing. It would have seemed really odd and maybe started some civil uprisings and wars and conflict here. That's the issue today, right now. That 40% of our country still thinks Trump's a Russian agent. And they, so they have to, with this D class coming, we're going to take that 40% now because it's already gone down from like 48%. We've gotten down to like 8% of the left has come over and woken up. We get more and more every day. Hashtag walk away, right? Once the D class comes, it's going to go down to 35. Once the next D class comes and the next level of D class comes to show Hillary server was crooked, blah, blah. And then as each step goes, it's going to lead back to the next person, all the way to Obama. And by that point, we hopefully down to 20% are still asleep. That's all we have left. Maybe down to 15 if we're lucky. And then they start doing the mass arrest. And then the media tells the 15% of the people that are still asleep, you need to go out and riot and burn down stuff because Trump's a military dictator. That's what they're going to say. And they're going to run out and they're going to go do that. But we don't want 40% of the country doing that. We don't really want 10% doing that. But there are going to be a fraction, and it's going to be in the big cities of L.A., Chicago, New York. That's where it's going to happen, in a couple of other places, but that's where it's going to happen. That's where the most people are that are anti-Trump. It's actually treasonous and seditionist for any of these elected politicians to be on TV and to go against laws that are already on the books. Trump didn't make any border rules or laws yet that I know of. He's just enforcing them for the first time in 30 years. And everyone's called him every name under the book for enforcing rules and laws that are already on the book. And we have dug in and found out, wow, it's actually illegal for an elected politician to stand up on TV and act like they're not for the law and Trump's wrong, and to get people actually riled up over that. It's actually treasonous to create a false lie. And I think they already did it. I think by them saying Trump's a Russian agent. And they got people when he won to go out and remember the kind of the riots that took place. Antifa was kicking cars, flipping cars, burning cars, breaking windows. That is against the law already. They incited violence into the masses of people by spreading a lie. And that's sedition. Yeah. He can round these people up yesterday. Why hasn't he yet? What are we waiting on? I think Trump is compassionate enough to know that the average person out at home, like you and me, and the ones that are brainwashed, need a little bit more time. They need to hear the message. They need to wake up. And he's compassionate enough to know that they're not idiots. They've just been brainwashed, and we're trying to undo that. And that takes time, unfortunately.
Exactly. And the time when I probably started to wake up, but because of working and 2 kids, I just wasn't paying attention. But the time that I really started to wake up was when the UN was put in. And I didn't like that. I thought, uh-oh, something's going on. We're in trouble. And then it's like, as soon as my dad said that to me before he passed, something's coming, you better get ready. Boom. It's like I started to tie more and more and more and more and more together. And with like your help, Woodman's help, all this, conversations that are going on now that are so critical to get more, like you said, more and more and more people awake, so that when this comes down, that we're going, yes, it is about time. And I've said to my family, go back to 1913. Look at what was signed. Look at what Wilson said by 1917.
He regretted it.
And it is documented. I fear I have signed America away. He knew.
Yeah, he knew he made a grave mistake.
Huh?
He knew he made a grave mistake that he
Yes,
sold out his country and whatnot. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he admitted it. You know, he admitted it that
Yes.
he made a huge mistake. And I said to one of my sisters, you know, she said, well, we were texting actually, and she said something about Trump, and I said, stop and think about this. And I went through from 1913 on forward, and then with Kennedy, President Kennedy getting assassinated, President Reagan attempted assassination, and I started to I lined it right up for her. And I have to be careful with her because she had a heart attack a couple years ago, and she needs to watch her stress. And that's what she said to me. She said, this is stressing me out. And I apologized, and that was it. We were done. I sent her some beautiful music, and that's it. That's it. No more.
Well, that's all you can do. I mean, that's literally, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough, especially with family. But at least, you know, you got the facts right. And I had something so big here. That's another reason a lot of people don't understand. The reason Trump is getting our sovereignty, keeping our sovereignty, getting our border really fixed, and then doing tariffs at the same time. Nobody gets it. We are not going to be paying taxes or very much of them. We're going back to our original Constitution. We're all supposed to be kings and queens in this land, and we're supposed to all own a little property, all pay a very little bit of tax on that property, if that, but we all own property, and kings don't pay taxes. They collect tariffs, and that's what we're supposed to do, charge everyone else. We're not supposed to be taxed, and people don't get it. All these articles coming out in the last 3 years, oh, Trump's tariffs are a joke. I mean, I sat here and read articles where it's like, this is what we already get. The articles will say, we already get this, and they'll show $4 trillion. Well, they don't break down where that $4 trillion comes from, which is from us, the taxpayers. So they get that just by the snap of their fingers. We've all heard the jokes come April 1st. People are like, oh, you're working for yourself now for the rest of the year. And people are like, what does that mean? It's like, well, from January 1st to April 1st, you're paying the government. That's how much of your taxes the first 4 months. And it's not really your first 4 months. We know it's broken up week after week for 12 months. But 4 months out of your paychecks go to pay for your tax, the amount that you're required to pay. That's how bad it's gotten.
Right.
4 months out of the year. We're not going to pay that no more. And people don't get it. They're fighting for the system that's already been here and acting like Trump's just upsetting it because it's opposite of everything that's been done before. If we ever had a chance to take this out, it would have to be a non-political person that came out of nowhere. Wouldn't the system try to take him out right away? They have, since he's been here since day one. They have fought against him. They don't want him here. They don't want him anywhere near their money, their rules. They have done everything to try to get him out. Yeah. We totally got an outsider.
To actually his one granddaughter to take her into child slavery. It just breaks my heart that our president and his family are being treated that way. Even if I didn't like the president, I always said, leave the kids out of it. Don't even go there with the kids. Just leave them out of it. You don't like the president and first lady? Fine. Say what you want to say about them, but leave the children out of it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate the call. We're going to hang up with you, take a small break here, and we'll come back and we'll take a few more. Call in anytime again in the future. This is a great conversation, and we truly appreciate it. God bless you, by the way, and your family, and we hope everything works out in the long run with them.
God bless you, too. And you know what? It's going to work out. I have to stay upbeat. I'm going to stay positive. And everybody who is in this show, stay positive. Things are going to start to happen. It is going to happen. It took decades to get here. And by golly, our president is working very, very hard to make this happen. So, and Michael and Woodman, thank you so very much for all you do, and bless you for your service. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
So you have a great day, and thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
Airborne,
There,
airborne.
You heard her say it. A lifetime of evil, folks. How long does it take to fight a lifetime of evil? And I've heard a lot of people here. Oh, I've been waiting 6 months. I've known about everything you guys are saying. But it ain't happened. 6 months is too long. I'm out. Well, where are you going?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Going back to the evil? No, it's a lifetime of evil. Takes a couple good years, folks, to possibly get rid of. So don't get your panties in a bunch or whatever they say. All right, you want to take? We'll take a small little break here, at least 5 minutes. I'm gonna let my dog out because she's barking. Grab something to drink, and then we'll be back. Maybe take a few more calls. Let Woodman engage a little with the next caller there. I kind of hogged that one, but it was I don't know, just felt easy, and I felt like I had a lot to say to her. And she was a darling lady there, so we appreciate it. All right, yeah, give us a few minutes. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. We got about close to 700 in the room. I wouldn't want to lose any of you, but give us about 5 minutes. You good with that, Woodman?
You betcha. You betcha.
All right. Sounds good. All right. We'll see you guys here in a few. right. We are back in business. Lost a few, but we are back. Yeah, we're on. We're
All right.
in it to win it.
In it to win it. Yeah, in it to win it.
Lines are going to be open. All right, looks like we got just missed them.
Great calls. Great calls. Every one of them so far been great calls. Fantastic.
Yes, phone lines are open. I keep seeing a Kentucky and a California. Let's see who wins.
Well, that last lady, you know, talking about a hard time dealing with her parent or her family, trying to go on board. You know, it's awful hard for anybody to admit that, you know, everything you based your faith on as far as our government, it wasn't doing its job. It's kind of hard to really, you know, swallow that. We've talked about that several times, you know. They'll come
Yeah.
around. They'll come around, you know. They'll
They're
wake up.
not, if they're simple enough to follow what the lies are out there, then once that's gone, they'll be simple enough to keep following the new narrative of the truth. So
Yeah,
that's all that
you
needs
know,
to happen, folks. It's not that
Yep.
complicated. Some get it quicker, some will get it over time.
You have a great call-ins. What do you think, Mike? We've been
Oh, yeah.
blessed with that. Yeah.
There we go. All right. I'm just getting missed call after missed call.
Hey, if anybody out there knows Paul Seacrest from Chicago, listen to some of the stuff he's got going, because I hear through the grapevine he's
New
got a lot of good
Jersey.
things.
This is Mike and Woodman from the Patriot Hour. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Yo, what's up, bud? I'm glad I finally got through.
Yes.
Hello?
Yep, we got you here, buddy. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah, so, I was calling. I'd like to discuss, everybody does their own little investigation, and through my own investigation, I kind of went back on Trump's history and who he was involved with. And I think this is all, there was like 3 attempts to take out the deep state. And I think it all really started with McCarthy.
Okay. Yep.
And and what he did was, well, World War II, they tried to, they took out the Nazis. But the Bolshevik intention, Stalin's intention was to take all of Europe and then world domination. They knew they couldn't take over America, so they had to infiltrate America. So they infiltrated America through politics, military, and Hollywood. McCarthy exposed the Hollywood connection and the communist infiltrators within the government. Now, because they controlled the media, he couldn't battle them. They pretty much beat him. But there were 2 very important young men working with McCarthy. One of them was Roy Cohen, and the other one was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy.
Yes.
They were both attorneys for McCarthy. Once they defeated Kennedy, they still had the same agenda to take down the deep state. So they did it with the taking over the White House with him and his brother. I always looked at Robert Kennedy as more of the strategist of what was going on.
Okay.
Of course, we heard that Bush assassinated Kennedy. He was a CIA agent at the time. After the assassination, he became the head of the CIA. That was, I guess, his reward. And then he became the governor. Now, he wasn't he didn't have the charisma to become president. So he muscled his way in with Reagan. Reagan had the charisma, and I think he tried to have Reagan assassinated so he can become vice president. Pretty much same thing Lyndon Johnson did with Kennedy.
Yes.
Right.
Now, real quick, in your research, I've looked that up too. I believe it that Bush Senior was a CIA right out of Yale. He actually did something while his senior year at Yale or whatever with the CIA, like his work study or something. But it's very hard to find and document. Like, even asked during a phone call with Bush where he was on JF Kennedy's assassination. And most people, just like September 11th for my group, knows where they were at. People are like, oh, I was at the mall when September 11th happened. And almost everybody knows where they were at. But this guy, Bush, couldn't remember where he was for JFK's assassination when questioned about it. Like, I can't remember where I was quite at.
Exactly. There was an interview about it. But that's what I'm saying. I think that this was planned. And after the assassination, Robert F. Kennedy went to become president. They assassinated him. And I think that at that time, the military made it an objective to protect Junior. And I think they protected him his whole life. Now, Roy Cohn, who was an attorney with McCarthy, became very close with Trump. And I think Trump, he was involved with the military ever since military school. I think he performed top of his class, and I think he was picked maybe to infiltrate within the elite. And that's why they accepted him. They gave him movie roles. He needed to become a celebrity to have that Reagan power, the celebrity power to become president. Otherwise, nobody would know who he was in the Midwest or wherever.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well.
So I think that Roy Cohn connection, the McCarthy connection, everything, it was a few attempts. The story with Junior, it's kind of far-fetched, but there's a lot of coincidence. I mean, it's just, and I almost think that whenever they were ready for JFK Jr. to go into hiding, I think they kind of baited Hillary or the deep state to try to assassinate him. I think that he was going to go run for office, and then he made these magazines where Hillary was getting indicted, and you know what Hillary. I think he purposely. So I think he purposely baited them, so they would think that they assassinated him successfully. And, you know, it's very possible that he might come out. I don't know what your take on that is.
What now? Do you think when do you think it would be a good time for him to come out, or have you heard when he might come out?
Well, I know just as much as anybody else researching, but you know, everybody puts their own 2 cents in. I think that whenever he comes out, that's when you know that the deep state has been defeated. Good answer there. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, he's not going to come out before him.
I have stated that it would be. I wouldn't be shocked at this point. I believe JFK Jr. definitely had something to do with everything that's going on. I don't know if he's alive. I think it could be plausible, as easy as the story of him actually going down mistakenly or not catching that bomb. But honestly, I do think that he could be alive. It's plausible. I don't put it past these people. They had all the money, power, and if you're actually digging in and looking at how to take down a cabal, a system like this that took down your own father, you would have things planned out. So I don't believe for a minute that it couldn't be pulled off. That's where other people are like, you can't fake your own death and go this many years without being seen. How could he? And it's like, I think it could happen. So
actually, sure. I think if this is true, I think that you'll see a couple celebrities come out that might have faked their own death who didn't agree with the deep state, whether it be through Hollywood or whatever agenda they had.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Right now, I think we're in the process of taking down, because before we do anything within this country, we have to eliminate the CIA assets that are around the world. Because if he does anything here, they're just going to send a bomb from another country that's going to ruin the plan. So we have to neutralize all assets around the world. We took care of North Korea. That was the underground base in the mountain that was collapsed after the bomb. Venezuela is pretty much taken care of. Syria was taken care of. I think right now the last step is Iran. And I think there's already a deal with Iran. I think that unmanned plane was unmanned because it was there to suck them, expose themselves to see where they were. And he sent 1,000 troops there beforehand. I think they rushed in to take care of him as soon as they exposed themselves, sending that missile out. But, who knows?
That's a very good breakdown, though. We appreciate your call, and we're going to get to another one here. Call back any time in the future. We appreciate it. And we're going to keep following along the whole JFK thing. Trust us. Anything new, anything that we come across, we'll report on. We're going to keep following the queue and everything else as well. Exciting times to be alive, isn't it?
It's probably the most important time since Jesus walked this earth.
Exactly.
It's the world transition. Everything is being attacked at the same time. Their power on the media, the power in the financial system, the power in politics. I mean, we really are on the cusp of a new world being born. I don't think people realize how big this is and what an important time this is.
Nope, I agree. All right. Again, any shout out here to the subscribers and everyone listening in right now?
No, man. I mean, you're one of my favorite channels, and I appreciate what you do, and I know you put a lot of work into making such great videos and such great editing, and I'm just glad I got through.
All right. Thank you so much, and we appreciate that. I appreciate all that. You heard it there, folks. That was a great call. And we do it for you guys, all right? Woodman never tries to just outright lie to you. I know that for a fact. He wouldn't be here on the Patriot Hour. Ben, Scott, Nate, everyone we've ever had on here, from every single guest, I know them personally, and we might all have a different take or a different spin, but none of us are outright just lying. We might be wrong, we might get it wrong, and therefore then we'll come back and we'll say that we were wrong. That takes a special person in this day and age to admit you're wrong, and but we don't outright lie. Being wrong sometimes and outright lying, what's the difference? Well, a lie is setting out to knowing that I'm trying to construe you, and saying, I know this is wrong, but I'm going to get all these people to try to believe me anyway. That's a lie. Believing in something that I believe to be true, and so therefore that's why we say never believe what we say, never believe what he says. Woodman, never believe what the caller just said, never believe anybody. Listen to everything, watch everything, read everything you can, but believe none of it, not an iota of it, unless you can verify it. Well, sometimes that takes time. You're going to read something, harness it, keep it right there, and then you're going to see things play out over the next few weeks. I'm like, oh, by God, I was right on what I landed on and what I thought to be true. So we always got to keep moving forward and keep that in mind. All right, we got a call coming in from Ontario.
All right, fantastic.
Ontario, this is a Patriot Hour. This is Michael. This is Woodman. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Oh, I am so delighted to get through. Thank you so much. Michael, I have tweeted this question to you many times in your chat. I would like to know, first of all, what is a safety house build in relation to Canada? And what do you make of Justin Trudeau's recent visit to Washington? And also, when VP Pence visited us recently in Ottawa, the very next day, Justin Trudeau was photographed with Barack Obama. So do you think it's possible that Trudeau's visit to the White House last week might have been related to NXIVM? He was wearing socks. He always, telegraphs messages with his socks. The socks that he wore had the Y head and purple laces on his shoes, and they had the plane sitting there right on the table. So I would just like to know what you think about that.
Ooh, wow. Well, on some of those, we'll break that down a little bit. I think it's funny that Obama and other past elected officials, Kerry, Obama, Clinton's, that they're all going around ahead of POTUS, after POTUS, ahead of the VP, vice president, before and after the VP. I don't know who's who around the worldly events. It's hard enough just to keep track of who's who here in D.C., but even with some of these foreign players, this is a worldwide event. There was a lot of spying done with the Five Eyes before the whole FISA thing. We're all arguing, we're all talking about, and we're all debating right now about the beginnings of the FISA. Once that gets done, we're going to go back another level to before the FISA, which was Obama spying. And that's why there's been people from the UK. I don't know if Trump's going around telling these people, we know what you did. Here's the proof. We got this, the military, the NSA, the files. But it seems like people are dropping around the country, around the world as well, either stepping down, going away. They're citing reasons that just don't make sense. So either deals are being made to where we're forcing them, like, you guys kind of subverted huge laws for us, and they can argue, it wasn't all of us, it was only like 8 of us over here that went rogue. Well, the 8 of you made a lot of, made it look as bad as if 100 of you did it. That's the extent. Even with our own FBI, the 3 people at the head can make the whole agency stink a little bit, even though we know the rank and file are good. But that's the point.
Getting back to Justin Trudeau for just a moment. I don't believe that he was in Washington to talk about China with his Minister of Defense and his Foreign Affairs Minister. There had to have been another reason. First of all, she's not even welcome in the White House. And I know that his campaign finance manager is Stephen Bronfman, whose cousin Claire and Sarah Bronfman. As you know, this whole NXIVM trials, Rainier was just found guilty of all the charges. I'm not sure what the outcome is on her charges right now, but this is all connected. And in Canada, we are just now realizing that we never confederated, that we don't even have, our charter is not even a constitution.
Oh, wow.
And our country is basically being completely sold out from underneath us. They're giving away all of our money to the World Bank. They've also just recently shut down Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, all oil and gas development.
Wow.
And so we're in a very dangerous situation up here in Canada, and I know that he's working with Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah.
He absolutely is.
That's bad news. So,
and he was mentioned in the Q drops, as you know, under that Safety House bill. And I was just reviewing the Q drops from the beginning tonight, and I see very early on it talks about how the Canadian Prime Minister is very important, and the Uranium One, the funnel through Canada.
Yes.
And of course George Soros, and then how Q talks about we'll follow the owl and the Y head in the world. Well, both times that Trudeau met with Trump, first time at the G7 last year in Canada, and then this time at the White House, he wore the same socks with the Y head. The Y head on the socks. And then the plane was sitting there right on the table, the model plane. And as you know, there was some implication that when he left the G7, his plane, there was an assassination attempt, a missile went off, two of them, one from Whidbey Island, the other one from Hawaii. And so I was just wondering what you thought about that. And I was also wondering if maybe you're not too much on Canadian politics, but I was also wondering if you have any idea if the Trump team knows that we don't have a constitution, that basically Canada is a ship at sea here and we don't have a country. I mean, Canadian people are waking up to this. We're very upset about it. I mean, we're just rocking up here about the fact that we don't have a constitution.
Well, it's no different. I mean, and I'm not saying it's not huge, but it's like ours here. We have one. A lot of people cite it, but yet they don't know that it was usurped in 1871 by the federal government, our own federal government. So ours is kind of now and void, but we scream about it, and there's the illusion that it's there, but yet it's been trampled upon. It's been usurped by a federal government. It's nuts. So I think a lot of countries are coming to realizations that things aren't what they seem to be. Wow, some people.
But you actually have a republic. You don't have the crown. I mean, we have to put up with the crown.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm coming to the realization that the crown in Canada is, in fact, the Vatican. It's not the Queen, really.
Yes.
All these privy councils, all of the Five Eyes, except for America, have a privy council. And that privy council runs our government. And they make all, that's the bureaucrats behind the sitting government, right?
Yes.
Well, this all ties back to the crown. It's and purple is, of course, a color associated with the crown. That's why it's important, the fact that he's got purple laces on and he's got the Y head on his socks. Because I know that's how he's telegraphing, and I know that there's a real problem here in Canada also with human trafficking. And he just came out recently and said that Canada was guilty of genocide.
Ooh.
So,
Trump said that?
Anyway,
Trump came out and said that?
No, Trudeau.
Trudeau's it. Okay.
We had a report for murdered missing Indigenous women and girls. We have a lot of missing children and girls.
Oh yeah, they're being siphoned out. They don't find a bone. I mean, the same thing going on here. And people, it's like we've had this number that just doesn't add up, and nobody. It's like, oh, these kids are just disappearing off the face of the earth. So it's not that I don't care. You had made that, not that I care or if I follow Canadian politics. I honestly don't. It's something I got to get better at. Not just Canadian, worldly. I know key players. I know the names, but I don't know, like, things that you just mentioned to me tonight. I did not know. So I got a lot of things written down, and trust me, I will look into those. What's really interesting is the Obama meeting with him. I want to look into that a little more, and I want to look into the socks even, like you're talking about these socks that he's wearing. So symbology is their downfall. We know that exists. So that's interesting.
I am a content creator on YouTube also, and I did some videos on the socks. And, even when Pence came to visit just a couple of weeks ago, he literally insulted Pence by bringing up abortion when Pence is pro-life. He was very, very rude when Pence was here. And when they sat down to meet, he was wearing Alpine Swiss socks, which to me signifies the World Bank, Switzerland, which ties in with the Vatican, which ties in with the Crown. You know how Q talks about the follow the bloodlines and follow the families and follow the money, right?
Yes.
I mean, we in Canada, just under Trudeau, we have given over $30 billion just for the sexual empowerment of the women of the Middle East. And he just announced another $9 billion the other day. And they're completely unaccountable to us. I mean, I cannot go to, the World Bank and audit their books to find out where my money is gone.
Yeah.
Right? So we're being squeezed. They're draining our treasure. They're shutting down our oil industry. They're shutting down our farmers. China is mad at us because we didn't, release Ming from Huawei. And they're squeezing us really bad. So it's just an awful time. Like, we're literally losing our country, and we don't even have a constitution. Our military is under constant attack by these people. It's just horrible. Awful situation.
You mentioned,
I won't take up any more of your time.
No, you're fine. I want to get a few things out before you leave. Appreciate you calling in. You said you were a channel YouTube creator as well. If you wouldn't mind, shout it out. I'd like to write it down so I can check out your videos. If you don't mind, if I end up doing a little something, I might link to yours just because you gave me the idea, and I'm fine with that. So I might take a link to one of your videos or something.
My channel is called Blue Apple, and I will put a link in your comment section at the end of the show for the video I just did about his socks.
Perfect.
And mostly I'm talking about, obviously, Canadian stuff, but how it relates to the, everything that you're talking about, right?
Oh, yes.
Q and
yes. All right. Well,
and
we
how
appreciate
it relates to us. Okay, thank you very much, Mike, and thank you, Woodman. I love your show, Mike.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right.
you.
That was Blue Apple. Check that
Fantastic.
out. I think if you type in Blue Apple Canadian or Canada, maybe Blue Apple Socks Trudeau, you'll come up with her channel because she did a video on the socks of Justin Trudeau, which is interesting. I'm always into the symbology stuff and checking out new he's just meeting with Obama beforehand, afterhand. That stuff bothers me as well, folks. What is your take on that, Woodman?
Well, yeah, exactly. Look, you're talking about Obama. You know, I hope the Canadians understand. Um, we're going to be here for them too. You know, I didn't know what that lady was talking about earlier. I had no clue about that. That, but I've been so worried about our news. I watch a lot of news. It's kind of like what I do. So I can make some kind of input on the show. I don't really watch what happens up to our northern borders, but I hope they understand. Um, you know, we're neighboring countries, and if the people really need our help, we're here. Um, I would much rather have a Canadian here that can give some kind of an input or a positive structure in the United States than to have a bunch of other people come in here and just utilize the Welfare Act. You know, uh, they Canadians have a right to live too. I'm really sorry about what they're going through up there. But every country is going through some stupid stuff, like you said, Mike. You just can't get away from it.
Yeah.
We're fighting real hard. We're really blessed to have President Trump. I know, like everybody keeps talking about, I wish everybody would come on board. It takes time. Um, we're Here's the thing, you know, over time, people have ran for presidency and they said the same thing Trump did, but never accomplished the mission. Well, nobody's really accomplished what President Trump's been doing, and it's kind of shocking to all those, shall I say, life-term politicians. The guy's been in there for 50, 60 years. Airborne, airborne, man, this goes deep. Yeah, they've screwed our country up enough. Let's take it back over. We don't like Ben's, mentions a lot about our tariffs and you know um, our our federal government is probably, in all honesty, probably 80% larger than what it has to be. It's a shame that we have um, certain entities formed to watch other entities that are watching other entities, and they're all under the cuff. You can't discuss anything. Unbelievable. Let's work for our country. Let's work for the people that live here. You know, Look, it's a fantastic country, the best one in the world right now. Let's make it a little bit better. Uh, yeah, we don't have to say mega no more. It's Kega. Keep America great again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, these call-ins we've had, ooh, fantastic.
Elizabeth
These
Warren
call-ins we've had,
plays
yeah,
position left field, way out in left field.
yeah, no kidding, no kidding. These people calling in are fantastic. I just can't believe the ones we had tonight. They were very informative, and just showed me that people are actually, what we're doing is not wasted time. Fantastic, fantastic.
I agree. What a great,
Yeah, yeah,
great.
man.
Who is running Mexico? Drug lords, cartels, and coyotes, or a representative government? Well, who's really running
That's actually
Mexico?
that's actually changing too. That's actually changing.
Yeah, no, and that's what we want. We're
Yeah,
not calling out people
yeah.
to make jokes. We
That's
are.
fantastic.
All
Yeah.
right, no, we'll wrap this up. We just hit the 2 hour mark. I didn't know we were going to go that long, but we did. We took lots of phone calls. We took minimal break. Good stuff, folks. Good stuff. Good stuff. Glad to see we have close to 700 people in the room. Again, thanks for the super chat. You guys are great. All the phone calls, all the Patriots, the returning Patriots, the ones that are new here tonight. Thanks for joining. Make sure you're subscribed. Toggle the switch over there so it works with you and your device. Make sure you got the alert set for live shows. Make sure you got the alert set for the updated videos. That way you don't miss anything that we put out over here, folks, at the old Patriot Hour. We truly, 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 truly appreciate it, and it means a lot. Again, I had a bag full of letters and stuff I wanted to go through here tonight, and we just ran out of time. Just awesome stuff that shows up here time to time. Letters like this. This is from Elizabeth Roberts, I think. Keep up the good work. I will send cards to the sick veterans on birthdays and everything else. Thank you all for standing up for my freedom. Thanks to all veterans for their service, especially those providing the truth on the Patriot Hour. I enjoy listening and watching all of your YouTube videos. I got some antioxidant rice sent from Hawaii here. This is some good stuff here, folks. Super rice, powerful antioxidants, good stuff. All kinds of letters, and the same lady that sent the George magazines from Hawaii sent the rice. Got a couple of donations. This is from the P.O Box, folks. Go to the P.O Box. I believe tomorrow I will definitely go through these letters and at least spend 10, 15, 20 minutes is what it's going to take to get through some of these, just to read them to you guys. But I do appreciate it, and that's how it works. So, all right, back here to me and Woodman. We will close this one down. We will be back soon. Woodman, can we hear you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, I gotcha. All right, yep, no, you're there. Again, we'll shut her down. Brother, great show as always.
Airborne,
complain.
all the way.
Patriot Hour.
All the way, airborne, all the way. Yep. There
Yes. Got a big. Oh, he's got it too. Patriot here. Do it again. Patriot Hour.
Patriot Hour.
Awesome.
Look, and I have the shirt.
You got it on? Oh man, yes. See, he's got it on.
Yeah.
I got my,
buddy.
Just my Jeep shirt here with a little flag on this side, maybe. All right, you guys, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining in on this Sunday evening. It's going on 10 o'clock on the East Coast, about 9:40. Again, we appreciate it. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you, and we'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update. Have a great evening.
Pray.
Never give up anything to idiots. Can never get it back. Never give up your freedoms. Never give up anything for nothing. It's always really hard to get back.
Keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.